Robert Lee Harper was born October 3, 1920, in the southern part of Gregg County known as Pleasant Green Community. The community itself has a rich history of African Americans seeking new opportunities in a climate where such things were limited. It's an area where freed slaves settled and made a home and life for themselves, becoming merchants, landowners, and farmers. The Harper family was very much a part of that rich history that grew from this small rural community, in spite of the prevailing and accepted norm that people were being judged by the color of their skin. Robert Harper's father, Grant Harper, and mother, Melinda, raised 10 children on their farm in the Pleasant Green community. Robert was the first college graduate that emerged from the siblings. After graduating from Ned E. Williams in 1939, an all-colored high school, Robert spent 4 years at Jarvis Christian College. During those college years at Jarvis, he met Eldora Hemphill, whom he later married, and they had 2 children, Robert Jr. and Beverly. He spent his first year of college working on the farm before beginning classes for academic credit. His college work was quickly interrupted in 1942 by the draft in World War II. Robert then transferred credits to Wiley College and graduated in 1948 and was then accepted to Meharry Medical College, a prestigious medical school in Nashville, Tennessee, and the first medical school in the South for African Americans. In 1952, Dr. Harper graduated from Meharry with honors and then successfully passed the state dental board before starting his practice in Longview. Trying to secure the money to open his dental office in Longview was not easy.
But when I approached the bank, they told me that I had to have collateral approximately the amount of the finances that I had to get started. And that was the major problem that I ran into getting started. We were able to contact the medical doctor here, and he had some property that was available for a location with a small building, and he gladly let me use it, but he said I would have to fix it up. So my daddy did that. Being a carpenter, he fixed it up where I could get started, which I did get started, and I stayed there for 3 years.
It was very clear at the beginning of his dental practice that he would not have access to white patients in need of his services.
At that time, it was understood that I wouldn't be working on anybody except my people, generally, because just because the situation as it was at that time, they did not approach me for service. And if I did find one that did, I would accept them gladly. But I had very few.
Still, Dr. Harper did not allow bigotry and hate to compromise his value system.
In a lot of instances, I had the opportunity to meet various ones on occasions that found out that I was a practitioner of dentistry. They want to know, did I work on the opposite race? And I said, yes, I work on human. If they're humans, I work on. Didn't make any difference to me.
Navigating his way through a racially motivated environment for his patients, there were times when he had to reach out to white dentists in the area when patient care required a more specialized service, like the straightening of teeth. Accommodations were made for the colored patients being referred, and appointments were carefully planned not to interfere with the caring of the doctor's white patients.
The white had to take the black after hours, or either they'd have to come at some special time, and they'd either have to come in the back door. And in the case of oral surgery, they had to come downtown and go up through a scuttle hole.
But through all the adversity, Dr. Harper remained deeply rooted in his faith as he continued his pursuit of social justice without compromise.
We work together in various capacities, of course, in the community and the church, and he is a man that I would say is very caring. And I saw that with how he cared for his family and his wife, who's now passed away, his children and grandchildren. Obviously very caring for about almost 4 to 5 decades of being a dentist here in the community.
Dr. Harper always had a caring heart for the children of Longview.
Well, I was next door to an elementary school, and Mr. Armstrong was the principal there. And I told him that if any students that had problems, that I would be glad to serve them, whether or not they had finances or not.
What I say about Dr. Harper is that, one, he's a caring individual. He's a man of great character. He's a gentleman. And when I see him on Sunday with his sometimes purple tie, we laugh about that he always is very well dressed and represents, I feel like, what embodies Martin Luther King in being a man of great character, being a person who cares and very, very committed to making Longview a better place to live.
Dr. Harper was always active in his community. He was the first black chairman of the Piney Woods chapter of the American Red Cross. He was the district commissioner for the Boy Scouts of America. And in 1967, he ran for a Longview City Council seat.
I ran for the city commissioner, city council, in 1967. And I did quite a bit of campaign and had a lot of help from my people because they wanted some representation on it. And I had some good relations with white friends that thought it was encouraging and it would be a good idea to have some representation. So I said, well, all you have to do is help get out the vote. And they flooded, they called me and told me to just come down and take a look. And it was a line there, almost a block long, waiting to vote because they had to come, you know, after they got off work, and they said as long as you get in line before time, well, you could vote.
Dr. Harper was a mentor to many young people, but Dr. Troy Simmons, a Longview dentist, is especially grateful to Dr. Harper for guiding him through the trenches as an emerging young dentist.
I came up to Longview to visit with Dr. Harper, and we struck up this conversation and ended up in this relationship as associates. I've been in this community now since 1977 when I first joined his practice. And I've watched him over the years just continue to serve in some capacity, trying not only to deliver his professional services, but whatever skill set else he had that would help people either in the church, in other community organizations like the Red Cross, Boy Scouts, you name it, his fraternity. He has just brought I think, such a tremendous amount of knowledge and innovative thinking to a community that so desperately needed African American leadership. And he wanted to, in my opinion, wanted to see changes in his home, in his county, in his community where he grew up. And he brought a skill and a knowledge that no one else would bring to that.
I've seen him in several different circumstances take leadership roles when it was not going to benefit him personally at all, but provide for an opportunity for other people in different respects of their life.
Yes, we, Dr. Harper and another friend and person that just passed away, Dr. Willis, were instrumental, I think, in this community. And there's been more than just them, but they were, they were the ones I knew about that were instrumental in the race relations of this community.
He's an extremely compassionate individual, very thoughtful, and very in tune, I think, with this community.
Still today, Dr. Harper continues to give credit to his religion and his faith for the opportunities he's experienced on a very humble journey.